Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, everyone. How are you? Just let me move. Let me adjust this a little bit. Welcome, everyone, to Story Saturday. We're going to give it a few minutes for people to get in the room because I did have a bunch of people RSVP this. So we'll give it a few minutes before we start with the reading. Sue, hello, dear Sue. So good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I'm going to take a sip of my herbal tea with honey. It has been helping my throat. Mm. All right, everybody. So we are in our second week of Story Saturday. We are reading the Akashic Records Made Easy by Sandra Anne Taylor. So today we're going to be reading chapter 2. So I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes for people to get in the room before we start going. Sullivan, I see your picture floating by up there. Linda, hello, Linda. So good to see you. So good to see you. Ginger, so good to see Ginger. Hey, Solomon. Oh, what a great crew. What a great crew. Love it. Love it, love it. Catherine, I'm back. I just had a live before this talking about the retreat again. So this is the second time I've seen Catherine today, and I'm here for it. Okay. Oh, goodness. All right, we're getting our tea in us, nurturing our throats for this reading, because I was struggling Wednesday night during my card readings. My voice was going towards the end. So we're taking all the proper precautions this time. All right, like 10 more seconds. I'm gonna wait till 3 minutes in, and then I will go ahead and start reading. So again, we are reading Akashic Records Made Easy. Hey, you're fine. You're fine, baby. Do you want to go out? Of course she wants to go out. Good morning, beautiful souls from New Zealand. Oh, good morning, Sarah from beautiful New Zealand. Hi, Bethany. Oh my gosh, long time no see. How are you? I hope you're doing well. And welcome, Sarah. Now I'm envisioning New Zealand in my head. It's such a beautiful country. Absolutely beautiful country. All right. All right, getting prepared. All right, everybody. So like I said, we're going to be reading the Akashic Records Made Easy by Sandra Anne Taylor. This is our second week with it. So last week we read the introduction in chapter 1. So if you enjoyed the book, it's cold currently. It is not here. We are at the start of a heat wave here on the East Coast of the United States, and it is god awful, and it's only supposed to get worse the rest of the week. So I am going to hibernate in air conditioning. So, so like I was saying, so this is a weekly series. We read a chapter each week. If for some reason you're not able to make it or you have to miss one, these are being recorded. If you want to find that, you can go to my About section all the way down to my link. And there you can find access to be able to watch those because I'm not able to put them on here. For some reason, I can do it live, but when it's recorded, they say it's copyright infringement. So I can't upload those, unfortunately, on here, but we've figured it out. So, all right. Oh, wow. We are, yeah, we are definitely getting the heat. Yeah, it does, Ginger. It does. Not often, but it in the summer, I would say like probably August is probably our worst here. July and August are probably like the hottest months that we have here. And it can be in the 90s. What kills us is the heat index and the humidity that we have here makes it like you step outside and you literally feel like you're suffocating because it's so humid. And everyone has always told me that the desert heat is different. It's dry and it's different. I don't know. Maybe you would know, Ginger. You're in New Mexico. Yeah, you said totally different. So, but yeah, 90 or 100 here is like god awful. Absolutely god awful. So, yeah, we have it in the UK. We don't have AC. We are not used to it. It's unbearable. Oh yeah, Sue. Absolutely. I watch so much International House Hunters and it just trips me out. And like certain other countries, like you can tell obviously when the Americans go because they're like, wait a minute, you don't have air conditioning? That is exactly what it feels like, Ginger. You hit a wall when you walk outside. That is 100% what it feels like. Yes. Literally smacks you in the face and you're like, nope, turn around, going back inside. Oh, your internship in Houston. Yeah, Texas heat too. Whew. All right, everybody. So we ready to get going? We're going to get going with the reading. All right. So again, chapter 2, Akashic Records Made Easy by Sandra Anne Taylor. Here we go. All right, chapter 2, Energy and Information, Eternity Vibrating. It is well known how DNA can reveal amazing amounts of information about an individual. In a single cell, we can find out about a person's identity, lineage, potential for diseases, and much, much more. This is the personal record of one's physiology, representing each individual's biological nature. Yet there is a storehouse of information that transcends even the staggering data of our DNA. It's about our history, our psyche, our energy, and even about our potential future. For each individual, each group, each culture and country, for the globe itself and far beyond, every bit of essence and experience is recorded in the Akashic Records, which, like our DNA, can first be found by searching within. But the place and purpose of the records are unlimited in scope. The Akashic Records exist in time, space, consciousness, and energy. From the petal of a flower to the beat of your heart, from a distant star to a tiny pebble under your foot, the records are within and all around you. Eternity and infinity are mapped in your records. They can be accessed whenever you desire and used for countless reasons, including investigating your past lives, karma, reincarnation, and your soul's map. Some people call the Akashic Records your soul's map. This is an apt description, for it can reveal where you've been, where you are now, and where you're going. Each soul has its own path to follow, its own lessons from the past, and its own unique goals for the future. You may get lost in your present pursuits, but you can always look at the records of your past lives and your future intentions to figure out what it is you need to do next. After all, this is not your first time around. A simple interpretation of reincarnation states that the individual soul is born into a series of lifetimes and physical bodies existing in an energetic, or some believed heavenly realm between each incarnation. Within this system of repeated lifetimes, karma is formed. Karma is very often defined as the workings of the law of cause and effect, but it's really the vibrations of our accumulated choices, conclusions, and emotions that become a part of our personal records. This data is also encoded in our eternal consciousness, where our experiences of behavior, thought, and feeling build a repeated resonant momentum. These patterns repeat in our energy, projecting our most dominant vibrations, attracting experiences that either challenge us or bring us joy. In that way, our karma, our energetic history, then goes on to direct our personal destiny in the present and in future lifetimes. But it is in this present life that gives us the power to make all the desired changes in our energetic makeup, a process that makes the study of reincarnation truly valuable. As I described in the previous chapter, Edgar Casey used the Akashic Records to do nearly 2,000 readings of past lives, but he also used them to find out important diagnostic and healing information for his clients, and to look into the future to make many predictions. You can follow all of these pursuits when investigating the records for yourself. Finding out about your past life events and relationships can be a fascinating adventure, yet it's the process of applying that information to healing present problems that really brings the Akashic Records to life. Valuable record reasons. There is so much power and potential waiting in the records. When you learn how to explore this valuable source of energy and information, you will be able to find out how past lives have influenced your present relationships, including romantic, parental, friendship, and work relationships. Learn past life sources of present problems and patterns, including fears, depression, shyness, addictions, and even such things as chronic poverty and loneliness. Get specific information on how to heal and reverse these unwanted physical, emotional, financial, and relationship patterns. Find your personal purpose and live a more conscious and fulfilling life. Learn about global energies and issues, including social, cultural, religious, and military patterns, past, present, and future. Expand your intuition and receive powerfully intuitive messages on a regular basis. Receive data and inspiration regarding any project, whether medical, technical, financial, scientific, or any other pursuit. Find and enhance your natural talents, whether musical, artistic, athletic, or any other activity. Receive assistance in making important decisions. Look into potential future records to determine what you can do now to change or enhance things in the time to come. Program events and outcomes into your future records for desired manifestation. Understand profound spiritual truths. Learn how to expand your spiritual awareness, awaken to your soul's point of view, and establish a truly peaceful approach to life. All of these activities and many more will not only help you to understand the meaning of your life, but they can also help to change both your energy and your future. But your focus on the Akashic Records is not limited to working on and for yourself. Your effort can garner important results for friends, family, community, and even for the greater communities that inhabit this planet. In fact, the planet, along with everything on it, not only stores the information of the records and influences that information, but it also is very much influenced by the work you do in your record exploration. It is all a process of give and take, expansion of energy, and accumulation of information. And it's always as close as your own breath. 1 second, take a sip of tea. The hologram of life. The Akashic Records are not held with some mystical, etheric library located out in the stratosphere. They are vibrating histories, truths, and future potentials held in even the smallest places and timeline spaces. Every little thing in the universe, every vibration and particle holds the records in their entirety. It's holographic in nature, and it's liberating to realize that this important information is available to us through so many sources. The hologram has become a common phenomenon in everyday life. Three-dimensional images seen in amusement parks, on TV, and in movies. Two laser beams creating an interference pattern on film produce the hologram picture. To produce the image, another laser light is shot through the film, which on the surface looks merely like a mass of shimmering, waving lines. But the image is held within the hologram. In fact, it's within every minute part of the hologram. If the film were to break into a dozen pieces, you could shine the light through the smallest piece and still see the complete image in its entirety. The Akashic Records are holographic in nature. Their truths are revealed in their entirety in every piece of nature, every particle of sand, every blade of glass, and every wave on the shore, as well as in every unseen and unheard vibration around you. They are eminently accessible, always resonating within you, waiting to be tapped. Hello, Angela. Inner spaces. We know that the massive amounts of information in your DNA can be seen in each and every cell, but your body holds more information than that. Through the process called cellular memory, you hold countless records about yourself and your history, both in this life and long ago existences. You may wonder how your physical cells can hold codes from previous lifetimes, but you might also be very surprised to find out that they hold the essence of stars that have existed for thousands of years. Carl Sagan once said that we are all made up of star stuff. This is not just poetic metaphor, it's an energetic and elemental truth. For the elements that were first formed in stars long ago are the same elements that allow us to live, function, and thrive today. It took those ancient suns millions of years to create the very atoms that make up every one of us. It is an elegant truth that we hold the history of all life within. So it's clear that your cells, as part of this amazing universe, have already done a lot of the work and continue to hold untold records. But the greatest part of what is recorded within you is actually about you and your eternal life, past, present, and even potential future. These records are a part of your energetic body, the essence of your eternal light and vibration that reshapes itself in every new lifetime. This energetic body, also called your etheric or astral body, is an important part of your personal records. Although this is an energy form, it vibrates with the record of your previous physical, emotional, and cognitive experiences. As you move through time, the events of the past, whether joyous or traumatic, are written in your records and in your energetic body, along with the emotions and beliefs that those events created. In this way, the groundwork for new experiences in upcoming lifetimes is developed and our predominant patterns are formed. The more emotionally charged the experience, the more influential that record becomes until we take some action to change it. This is one reason why working with the Akashic Records can be so liberating. Once we find out what happened, we can write a new record, one that empowers us and brings us a greater sense of our eternal value and worthiness, and one that changes what we're going through now. This is an example. Janet's freedom. I once had a client named Janet who had been physically abused in childhood. She walked with a slouch and was fearful of the world. She also had back problems, and the memories of past brutality had been stored in her cells there. We worked together on erasing the negative records of her past and writing new records of strength and safety. She also worked on creating a clear and self-empowered present record, as well as a future record of freedom and self-actualization. Watching her transformation was a revelation to me. She became a strong, self assured woman and recorded that for all time. You too can clear difficult records from your past, whether in this life or in previous ones. You don't have to be a mystic or a seer to find out what happened in your unknown past or to learn how to deal with it now. The information exists within your Akashic energy, vibrating with amazing revelations and endless potential for change. With a little investigation, you can open up this eternal toolbox of change and enlightenment. It's not difficult to engage in this process, for the evidence of what you may need or want to work on is all around you throughout your life and in time itself. All right. Vortex of time. The records may be located in space and energy, but that's not all. It's easy to see how both good and bad memories can be held in a certain place. In fact, the places of our past can hold uncomfortable records and evoke unwanted memories and emotions. The energy lingers in the place and vibrates with information and feelings. And if repeated trauma was involved, that place could hold strong records of fear, anger, and resentment. You may never have to return to this place again, but if such a location exists for you, it would be helpful to do the clearing the records of time and space exercise later in this chapter. In addition to space, time itself can hold information as well. Each session is filled with very specific patterns of both energy and information. The stroke of midnight can carry important records, especially on certain days. A multitude of cultures and religions have poured powerful energy into the Akashic records around their ceremonies and holidays. December 25th and January 1st are just two of countless dates in the calendar that resonate with the energy of a shared vortex of time. However, the information around these two particular dates has been accumulating for centuries and continues to shift and change as the years progress. Even the date of September 11th now carries a powerful vortex of emotion. For many people, just seeing or saying the number 9/11 evokes highly charged images that are still held and repeated, swirling vibrations of fear, anger, and even hatred around that date. Individual and group intentions are also recorded in certain times of the year. For example, the coming of fall, autumn, awakens plans of going to school, harvesting the land, and feasting. These and similar records are stored in countless time vortexes in which we pour our shared experiences of emotional reactions. From the time of day, like the rising of the sun, to the time of the year, like the falling leaves, there are subtle and not so subtle records that stimulate both shared memories and resonant intentions for many of us. Your personal circles of time. It's important to know that each of us individually has personal records stored in time as well. In fact, you may be able to look at your life and recognize those times when certain patterns were repeated, revealing outright what your personal records may hold. And if you see a specific trend around a certain date or time, or patterns that are consistent to a specific time of the year, you can bet you've experienced those patterns at the same time in past lives. For example, the last week of July is an important vortex of time for her, at least as I witnessed the patterns in this life. Three major relationships in my life, including my present marriage, were heralded in at that time. This is clearly a record of romantic experience, and I would wager that I have experienced the same type of events, perhaps even with the same people, at the same time in past lives. Ted's Circle of Time. I'm going to read this and then I'll look at the comments. A similar yet energetically opposite situation became apparent in the life of a client of mine named Ted. He was engaged to be married and felt strongly that he needed to wait until the winter to hold the wedding. His fiancee resisted that choice, however, and eventually convinced him to bring forward the date to June. It was to be a rather elegant affair, but in the months leading up to the event, they found that they were having increasing difficulties in the relationship. It got so bad that Ted told his fiancee that he needed to postpone the wedding. His fiancee left, however, and their dreams for a happy future together went with her. When we explored his past life records, we found that this had been a life of repetition for them, each leaving the other several times before, often at the same time. But the vortex of that particular week in June didn't just hold the eternal records of their relationship, it also held information and energy of other difficult events in Ted's present life. In our conversation about the importance of time, Ted started to tell me about previous incidents that happened during the very same week in his life. First, he experienced the death of his father. Then, in another year, at the same time, his apartment was ransacked and robbed, causing him to move to another state. A few years later, he was mugged, severely beaten, and left for dead. All of these events were extremely traumatic, and along with the recent breakup, created a highly energized vortex of unsettling experiences in the records of his life, for all of them happened in the very same week. Once we gathered all the information, Ted and I worked on clearing the records as well as the energy stuck in the vortex of that particular week in time. We created some affirmations of release, reclaiming his power and peace of mind at that time. He also did a meditation where he visualized a calendar covered with writing. This represented the old negative patterns and experiences, which he then saw being erased. He then visualized a clear, shining, empty space on that week in the calendar and filled it with words and images that were pleasant and empowering to him. In this way, he wrote new records of happiness, safety, and strength associated with the vortex of that time. Also, as he approached that week in real time, he planned happy experiences and continued to do empowering exercises like the one below. Even the time of day can carry a vortex of energy for you. I have dealt with many people suffering from insomnia who experienced some traumatic event in the middle of the night in a past life. They carried the memory with them, and whenever that time of day came around, it triggered fear, dread, and the need to be ever watchful, ever awake. Yet, even those difficult patterns can be erased. These memories can be cleared, and the present problem greatly relieved. Not every time vortex in the records of your life is filled with negative information. You may be able to look at your life and see patterns of positive experiences occurring during certain days, months, or seasons. These records tend to repeat themselves as well, but since they're pleasant and reassuring, there's no need to shift those records in order to create new energetic patterns. But if you do have a time or space vortex that's recorded with difficult experiences, you can clear those negative records and create new positive trends for the future. So now we're at the exercise. So I'm going to pause for a minute. And let's see, what are we congratulating Angela? Oh, congratulations, Angela. 4 years sober. Yes, absolutely. Congratulations. That energy is for you. Yeah, summer solstice. Yep. Ginger says that's super interesting about dates. I work with clients with neuroplastic symptoms and they have a strong anniversary effect. That this explains that. Yeah, absolutely. It's like seasonal affect disorder, right? A lot of people experience low mood, um, mild depression, or moderate to severe depression in the wintertime. Seasonal affect disorder. I feel like that has a component to it as well. So all kinds of things. Mhm. All right. So we are almost, we have the exercises that we're going to do. And then there's like 4 pages and then the summary after that. So like I said, I will try to read slow, but there are 8 ones. So what I learned last week from doing this is the exercise is pretty much like a guided meditation. Um, so I think I'm gonna read it like that because I feel like they're too detailed for you guys to sit there and try to like write everyone down. And then like when I start reading them, I go into the channel because I can feel the channel. Um, and it ended up being like a guided meditation. So if everybody's cool with that, um, we're gonna do that. So the exercise is clearing the records of time and space. So first, she's suggesting consider the times of your life. Are there certain days, weeks, months, or seasons that repeatedly bring challenges to you? Even the time of the day could be important. So, what you want to do here is, she says write down, but for us here, we're going to be think about if you can identify any patterns and identify the time. So write down the pattern and identify the time in your record journal. So the first step is, what behaviors, thoughts, or emotions do you experience at these times? So either list if you're writing during this or think about the difficult ones that you would like to clear. So I'll give everybody a minute to think about that and I'll read that again while I'm doing it. So, what behaviors, thoughts, or emotions do you experience at these times? List or think about the difficult ones that you would like to clear. Mm. All right. So try not to make this like a 20 thing, right? Like, oh, this, like 10 things. Try to maybe pick 1 or 2 things. Like, think about, like what I tell like my therapy clients is, because a lot of us have multiple things, right? So I always say we can't work at everything at once. Where do we start? So like think about the thing that is impacts your life daily the most. So in this case, it would be think about some day of the week, month, season, time of the day, any kind of pattern of behaviors, thoughts, and emotions, difficult difficult ones that you would like to clear. And then now we're going to list the pleasant and empowering emotions and energies that you want to replace them with. So if you're writing this down, look at the things that you've written down. And then now we're going to write the pleasant and empowering emotions, thoughts, feelings, sensations, any of those things. Write down or think about those energies that you want to replace them with. I'll give you all a minute or two to do that. Mm, no. I lost my tea bag. All right, so we're focusing on what we want to replace, those difficult behaviors, thoughts, feelings, and emotions during the pattern or a time that we identified. And now we're rewriting our records with pleasant, empowering emotions and energies that you want to replace it with. All right. So the next three is, okay, sorry. The next two is going to be a visualization exercise that I will lead you guys through. So if does everybody have their difficult, and then everybody have their, what they want to replace it with? Are we ready? Are we ready? Throw some hearts up there if you're ready, or so I know to go. Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. There is no right or wrong way to do this, just like regular meditation, right? If you feel safe and comfortable, you can close your eyes. If you want to put your hand on your heart, on your belly, hands on the lap, doesn't matter. However, you feel comfortable. So we're going to start by taking a deep breath in. Let's take a nice anchoring, grounding, deep breath in. Release. Another deep breath in, all the way down to our belly. Release. One more grounding breath in. Release. Imagine yourself seeing a calendar or a clock in front of you. That calendar or clock is the time period that you have in your mind. You may see writing, you may see images depicting the events that you want to clear from that time frame. Simply see yourself erasing those words, those images, whatever's there. Wipe it off, erase it off. See yourself creating a clear, bright space on the calendar or the clock. Now you start to see those new words appearing there, the words that you created or thought about, pleasant, empowering emotions, energies. You see those appearing on your clock or on your calendar. Maybe words like power, joy, relaxation, fulfillment, achievement, and happiness. Fill the calendar or clock with beautiful color and light. Fill it with joyous, peaceful images of yourself experiencing that time in the way you desire. Continue adding and creating to your calendar or clock as long as you need to. Feel the emotions, the sensations of seeing this new calendar and clock filled with pleasant and empowering energy. And then whenever you're ready, you're going to take a deep breath in. Take one last look at that calendar or clock. Feel the energy and power of erasing and rewriting that record. And bring those thoughts, feelings, and sensations back with you now into the present moment. Mm. Once we're fully back, we're going to be moving on to the next step, but we need to be back present in the moment for that. So I'll give it a minute or two for everybody to come back in, back into the space. All right, are we ready? Let's try and hold on to that energy. And now we're going to think, we're going to consider any places where you've had consistently difficult experiences in this life. So if you're writing while you're doing this, you can record this in your journal. You want to describe or think about the patterns you notice taking place and the emotions they evoke. And this is going to be in a specific place. So we've moved on from the pattern to a place. It might be a physical location, like your home. It might be a city. It might be a state. It might be a region. It might be work. It can be any place. Any place that you've consistently had difficult experiences in this lifetime. Think about those patterns, the emotions, thoughts, feelings, sensations that that place brings up. Now we're going to think about how we want to approach this place differently. We're going to write if we're writing, or think if we're in the moment. Think about the new beliefs and attitudes that you want to bring into the place. Again, we're going to use things like self-empowerment, self-valuing, peace of mind. How do we want to rewrite the record of this place? Now visualize an image of the place that you have in mind. Imagine the details of the place. See as little or as much detail as you need. Of the place. that has consistently given you difficult experiences. See those experiences as shadows starting to form in the place. Take a deep, grounding breath in, feeling supported and rooted, and see yourself erasing those dark shadows. Whether subconsciously, by seeing yourself pushing them out with your hands, or literally seeing an eraser that you're taking and removing those dark shadows. See yourself working to erase all of those dark shadows. As you're doing this, say, I am releasing any toxic attachment to this place. I am free and peaceful in its presence. Again, I am releasing any toxic attachment to this place. I am free and peaceful in its presence. And one final time, I am releasing any toxic attachment to this place. I am free and peaceful in its presence. Now see a beautiful golden light coming down from above and surrounding the place. See yourself in the image, happy and strong, perhaps even taller than the place itself. Feeling in more power than ever before regarding this location. And then when you're ready, slowly say goodbye to that place. You can affirm, I have a history, but I am not my history. I am powerful and peaceful everywhere I go. And then when you're ready, take a deep breath in, feeling the golden light and power that you've created in this space by rewriting the record in a place that once held pain. Deep breath in, releasing, clearing breath out. And when you're ready, slowly come back into this space, into the here and now. We're going to pause here for a minute or two for everybody to come back before I finish with the reading. And if you'd like to share about your experience, please feel free. Mhm. If you guys want to throw the hearts up to let me know when you're ready for us to move on. If not, I'll give it just another minute. All right, we're ready. Okay. All right, a few more pages to read. Back into the reading. So, outer places of shared records. As I described earlier, just as our individual bodies carry the records, so do the bodies of animals, plants, and inanimate objects, as well as bodies of water, earth, and the endless sky. Like cells holding personal vibrations, places can hold the whole of the records, as well as their own signature information. Places like Ground Zero and the Wailing Wall hold very specific data in cascading frequencies that include names, intentions, strong emotions, and history. Countries hold a variety of records, for good or not, each of which is distinguishable from the rest. Think about the different information held in places such as Ireland, Israel, Iceland, or Iran. Even just the names of these places can evoke vastly different thoughts and emotional responses. Streets also hold the records of the place and of the people who've traveled them, often in a buzzing resonance that can almost be heard. From Bourbon Street to Broadway, Charing Cross to the Champs Elysees, across the world, a signature resonance is recorded in the bricks and the buildings and the spaces in between. So, what does this mean for us? The fact is, the records are within us and all around us, and we can have access to the information held right where we are. It's also important for us to know that we, as individuals and as groups, feed the records and influence the energy of the places we are in, and even the places that we simply think about. What are your thoughts about your home, your town, or the places you visit, or even just read about? You are funneling energy there, which the records will take note of and send back in your direction. In this way, the records expand and the information accumulates, gathering an energetic momentum in one direction or another. This creates a phenomenon known as morphic resonance, a profound element of the human experience and an important function of the Akashic Records. Harvesting the morphogenic fields. Fields are often described as forces of information that somehow influence the matter they surround. Just as the power of gravitational and electromagnetic fields are clearly visible in the orbit of the Earth around the sun and in a compass pointing north, but there's much more to the field phenomenon than that. You have a personal energy field that influences your own experience, but also extends across time and space. having significant consequences in the lives of others. All humans, past, present, and future, and all existence share a consciousness that expands and connects. That connection is not just a concept, it's a very real energetic force of cause and effect, one that is made even more real by the amazing phenomenon of morphogenic fields, a term coined in the 1980s by scientist Rupert Sheldrake in his book, A New Science of Life. This is a vastly interesting concept because it reveals the power and influence of our personal energy and of the Akashic records themselves. Morphogenic fields are filled with energy and information fed not only by individuals, but also by groups. This creates a group consciousness, an energetic field that then influences others within the group. Through the process that Sheldrake calls morphic resonance, the fields expand, build momentum, and affect the experience of the world. Specific knowledge and behavioral habits accumulate, and that accumulated consciousness grows in vibration. When it achieves a critical magnitude, it moves into the awareness of everyone in the species. One example is the expansion of the digital age. The use of smartphones, tablets, the internet, and other satellite guided connections has exploded worldwide. So much so, it's hard to believe that just a few decades ago, most of this technology didn't even exist. Other morphogenic fields, excuse me, can be seen in such periods as the Renaissance, when the world evolved from the Dark Ages into incredible expanding accomplishments in painting, sculpture, science, and exploration. The Industrial Revolution is another example, as it completely altered the way much of the world made its living, turning most of the world from an agrarian to an industry based society, bringing millions of people into cities across the world. This process of morphic resonance is an ever changing part of the records, moving our species in a very specific energetic directions. It's a vibrational domino effect. Consciousness expands knowledge, and knowledge expands consciousness until in time the changes take on a life of their own. It's important to know that we share records with others, including those in our personal relationships, families, communities, cultures, religions, and countries. What we need to remember is that we have both the power and the purpose of clearing negative, unhealthy, or unloving energy from our personal and shared records. As we let go of judgment and create higher intentions regarding our perceptions of others and others, of ourselves and others, we feed the morphogenic fields of love and compassion. Those healing energies expand and reach out to influence others, bringing greater peace to the world. This is one way we can use the Akashic records to benefit both ourselves and others. It's an important vehicle for understanding and expansion. We can investigate the past and see the patterns that drove the world in a negative direction. Then we can write new records and feed new fields with joy, tolerance, trust, and understanding. But to do this, we must bring our examination and intentions into our present choices. We must choose loving treatment and talk, both to ourselves and others. In this way, we can shift the expansion of fear and hatred by changing the records of our own emotions. As more and more of us engage in expanding the consciousness and records of love, we can move our shared experience in healthier and happier directions, changing the future and creating a more joyous destiny for all. Hmm. So, the summary from this chapter: the Akashic records exist in time, space, consciousness, and energy, and can reveal your past and potential future lives, where you've been, where you are now, and where you're going. Each soul has its own path to follow, its own lessons from the past, and its own unique goals for the future. Karma is the ongoing energy of your accumulated choices, conclusions, and emotions, all of which become a part of your personal records. The information in your personal records is ever changing, and it gathers with similar energies to expand a morphic resonance and exert influence in the world. We share records with others, including those in our relationships, families, communities, cultures, religions, and countries. We have the power to clear negative, unhealthy, or unloving energy from both our personal and shared records. Boy, do we need that right now, don't we? Hmm. All right, everybody. It's a lot, right? I'm reading that. Sorry, I'm like self-havening. I just noticed I'm like swinging back and forth. Like it's very much like I'm a Reiki master, and energy, being taught about energy is energy's everywhere. You don't have to be in the same space. Energy travels, right? So the person who runs the International Center for Reiki training, they do group Reiki. Gosh, I don't do it anymore. I think it's monthly, or when big events are happening around something is going on, or big events are happening around the world, and everybody just sits and gives Reiki, to the world. And you can feel it. And this is kind of what they're talking about with the Akashic Records, like you can, it's like, oh, well, how can I? Well, look at the examples that they just talked about, right? We definitely are coming into a new paradigm here. We're in the age of Aquarius, and not just specifically here in America, it's other countries as well, but especially in America right now, it's very divisive and fear-based, and they're really trying to push that narrative and keep people divisive, right? And it sounds crazy, right? How do we fight fear and hatred with love? But with love, by rewriting those records, not just for ourselves, but for everybody else, to bring in positiveness and love and peace and unity and all of those things. And it can be done. It can. It carries. Start with ourselves, right? Always start with ourselves, and then carry it out to our shared experiences, because we all are connected one way or another. Sorry, trying to figure out who's trying to push through my door right now since my cat's in here. Somebody is. So awesome. Anybody have any questions or anything they would like to share or anything like that? Uh-oh. Sorry, I was just looking ahead to chapter 3. The records now and always. So next week we will read chapter 3, the records now and always. So that's kind of talking about time, future intentions, things like that, viewing the records. And then we're going to have an exercise, which it will be a sacred temple meditation. So that will be an actual guided meditation, which it seems like most of these exercises are guided meditations. So, and I will take her cues, and then like today, I will probably add some stuff to it. So that's what we got next week is chapter 3, the records now and always. So anybody who came in halfway through or towards the end, because I know people did, I see the numbers. If you missed the beginning or you missed last week, these are being recorded, and they will be uploaded. Unfortunately, I cannot upload them here on Insight Timer because recording them, trying to post them recorded is a copyright infringement on here. But I can do it live. But they are recorded and posted somewhere. So if you don't follow me already, I would love a follow. Or if you want to go to my page, go to my about section, go all the way to the bottom of my about section, and you'll find my link there. And that's where you can find access to things. If you like the energy of the group, you can join my group here on Insight Timer. It is called the Sacred Soul Circle. I am like channeling so much. I probably need to not post it. I probably post every day in there of something that I've channeled. So I'm trying not to overwhelm everybody. I just started it, so there's not that many people in it yet. It's growing, but to not overwhelm you with posts every day. But I've just been getting some amazing, some amazing things are happening and some amazing things I'm channeling. So I share those. I share those because we are all on this journey together, right? All of us are on it together. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you being here. So again, next Saturday, 7:33 p.m., we will be reading week 3, Akashic Records Made Easy by Sandra Anne Taylor. I also host another live on Wednesday nights. That is called Wisdom Wednesday. That is at 7:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I do a brief energy reading. Then I've channeled a card for the collective. I read that and then I open it up for individual readings. So those are my 2 lives this week. I do have a retreat that I am trying to do in October in Sedona called Soul on Fire, a 5-day retreat in Sedona. I did a live about that before this, and I might do one more live in the next week or so, talking about that, what it is. If you're interested, look out for that. And if it is your night, I hope you have a good rest of the night. If it is your day, I hope you have a good rest of the day. And I hope to see you all soon. All right, take care.